All right, here's some answers to some of the most commonly asked trucker questions, okay? Let's start with the loads. One, what do we haul? So if we're pulling a dry van trailer that looks like that, okay, that's what I'm pulling. All of these are dry van trailers. They don't have a refrigerated unit on the front. We're usually pulling things like paper or toilet paper or peanut butter or tires or a huge case of lanyards, plastics, metals, those kinds of things. We are not pulling any type of food that needs to be refrigerated because we don't have a refrigerator on our units. We are not pulling big old crazy industrial stuff in our trailers either because it doesn't fit usually. Also with that, I will say that most of the time we don't even know what we're pulling. Okay, so a lot of times we're backed up to a dock like I am right now. I don't know if you guys can see. Oh, that's a refrigerated unit right next to me. So you guys can't quite see it, but right now I'm backed up on a dock, and a lot of times they will just load up the back of my trailer, and they may even have me just pull forward a little bit, close the doors, and seal it. So in that case, I don't even know what's in the trailer. Even if I do see what's in the trailer, it's usually packaged up, right? And if I'm the one going back there to close the doors and put a seal on, I still may not know what's back there. A lot of times they don't even put the items on the paperwork that we get. It'll say how much, it'll say the weight, not exactly what it is. So when you ask us, what are we hauling? Sometimes we have no idea. It's actually very common for us not to know. Other commonly asked questions. Do we sleep in here? Yes, we do. Here's my bed. There is a bed down here, and I have a second bunk up there. So if I had somebody else with me, or if I was team driving, 2 people can sleep in here. There's a closet, there's a space for a microwave. I got a refrigerator down here. It's basically like a little RV, kind of, okay? Yes, we shower at the truck stops. No, they're not always the most clean. What do we do when we have to use the restroom? We stop and we go to the bathroom. Sometimes some drivers will have some sort of bathroom relieving system in their truck, but they are not typically equipped with one. So I have seen drivers may have like a trash can with cat litter in it, to relieve themselves in there, a trash can lined with bags, that kind of thing. I've seen people have like pouches. A lot of men pee in bottles and throw them outside, not even in the trash. Otherwise, we just stop when we can. We tend to not drink a whole lot of water or fluids because we're trying to avoid having to use the restroom a lot, which is not awesome. I definitely find myself feeling a little bit dehydrated sometimes because of that. Other commonly asked questions usually pertain to like diesel. We have 2 diesel tanks. On this truck, I have a max capacity of 150 gallons. That is a lot of diesel. Yes, it is expensive. That usually is going to get about 1,000 miles, give or take. Another commonly asked question is the mileage on the trucks, right? Like people will say like, oh my goodness, this truck has 400, 500,000 miles on it. That's insane. Actually, semi trucks typically can go up to about 1 million miles is what they say. Really, it's anywhere from like 700 to 900,000 before they like just take a shit. So most commonly though, most drivers who don't want to deal with a lot of issues and being in and out of the shop are going to opt into having a truck that has about 500,000 miles or less. So once these trucks reach about 500,000 miles, think of it as the equivalent of like your Honda Accord once it gets to like 200,000 miles, right? Like 200, 250, like that's like up there. It can probably go longer. You're gonna have to put in some money to do those extra maintenance items. But you're also probably gonna start to see other things wearing out, needing to be addressed more frequently. So yes, trucks can go up to 1 million miles. A lot of times drivers will, or owners, I should say, will do what's called an overhaul. An overhaul typically costs anywhere from like 20 to 40 grand. And that is where the engine is rebuilt. So it's like getting a new engine in the truck. So some trucks may have like 1,000,000+ miles because they got an overhaul. Other commonly asked questions are like temperature, right? So like if it's super hot outside, how do I make sure that I don't die of heat exhaustion in the truck? We have behind this closet here in my sleeper area, almost all of these trucks that are built this way that have the sleeper cabs come with some sort of climate control system. Now some don't, but these days it's very common that most of them do. And it actually taps into my diesel tanks, and that's how it runs. It's like a APU. I forget what that stands for. Auxiliary Power Unit. Ooh, boom, remembered. And that allows me to have heat or AC when needed. So I'm not in here dying. Other commonly asked questions, food. Truck stop food is ass. Usually it's pizza, some Pilots and Flying J's. Those are the common truck stops. They may have like a counter, almost cafeteria style, where they'll serve meatloaf and baked chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, mac and cheese, that kind of stuff. That's actually pretty decent. Not a lot of them have that though, but almost every one of them has like pizza and chicken sandwiches and burgers. So I tend to avoid that kind of food. But also most truck stops come with a Subway, an Arby's, occasionally you'll see like a McDonald's or a Taco John, something like that. So it's usually not like, you know, any great fine dining, anything like that, but you can find some decent food. The other common truck stops such as TA and Petro, they're the really, really big ones. They usually have a restaurant in them, although a lot of those have been closed down since COVID and haven't reopened. So that really sucks for drivers who, you know, are looking to get a meal. And my video almost cut out because my phone's dying. But that is it for y'all for now. Those are the most common questions that I get as a truck driver. Also, as being a woman truck driver, I'm often asked if it's scary, and the answer is yeah, sometimes. You know, a lot of times my fellow brothers of the road, as I call them, look out for me and look out for each other, and so more times than not, it feels safe. It feels like I'm being looked out for. But there are some times where people just don't take no for an answer or want to try to act like the truck stop is a dating hotline or something, and it's definitely not. So it can be scary at times, but for the most part it's okay. We do take precautions as women on the road to be safe. We tend to not go out at night. We tend to try to have weapons and things on us as it permits. We're not always allowed to carry weapons depending on the locations that we're at. So yeah, that's it for now, y'all. Peace and love.